right, my ducks. I hope everybody's doing okay and having a good start to the week. So if you was here on Saturday, I did a couple of catch-up cards, as I tend to do on a Saturday, and I did a bit of a catch-up, you know, what books I'm reading, shows I'm watching, films and all that sort of stuff. And I showed a book that I bought by Cassie Uhl, which is Understanding the Wheel of the Year. And it's part of the Zenned Out Guide range. And there's also a tarot deck, a Journey Tarot. And I mentioned that I'd seen this on Tarot in the City, Marty from Tarot in the City's channel, and give him a bit of a shout out. So thank you to everybody that went over and gave him a sub as well. It's a great channel, so I'm sure you'll enjoy being a subscriber there. And I went through this deck, but what hadn't arrived was, I'm not going to say a companion book, because it's actually a standalone book, but obviously the artwork that is in this book is the same as what's in the deck. But while I was doing it, somebody posted a question, or I guess a request rather than a question, just saying, would you still consider doing a separate walkthrough of this deck rather than it being a part of a 90-minute live broadcast? And I kind of hesitated and said, well, you know, I've kind of shown the deck now. But now that the book has arrived, I thought I would kind of do them both together. So if you didn't see the live, or you don't want to, you know, go all the way through the live just to find the deck, this is a standalone walkthrough video of the deck as well. So it has been opened because I opened it on Saturday. But firstly, I just want to say that these books are great, and I've had a bit of a flick through of this one for the Wheel of the Year. Beautiful illustrations, lovely quality, and these books are really inexpensive for what you get. This is less than £10. It does show that it's $14.99 in the UK, but on Amazon at the minute, I think £9.87 is what I paid for that. This one was even less. I think this was just under £9, but again, retailing at $14.99. They're hardback. They've got lovely embossed lettering, and there's this kind of metallic gold stamping on it. And it's really nice. So this says, enter the journey of self-discovery and tap into your intuition with the Zenned Out Guide to Understanding Tarot. So they're all called this Zenned Out Guide. And then we have the Zenned Out Tarot, the Zenned Out Journey Tarot, a deck for personal growth. With this accessible guide, you will be able to interpret the powerful message of each card in the major and minor arcana to uncover deep wisdom about yourself and your life. Find a path forward as you connect to your inner knowing and gain divine guidance. Discover what you need to continue to grow and become the best version of yourself. The Zenned Out Guide to Understanding Tarot has all the foundational tools you need for your magical library. This introduction to the tarot and tarot reading includes modern descriptions of the 78 cards accompanied by beautiful illustrations of each card, ways to read and use the cards including journaling, shadow work, intuition and much more. And I was really pleased about that, because lots of books that are introduction to tarot will basically just cover, you know, upright and reversed meanings. There's not many that go into kind of shadow work. So that was something that I was quite intrigued about learning more of. Information to help you include the 4 elements, astrology and numerology into your tarot practice. Now this is part of a set, and because I really liked what I saw in the Wheel of the Year, I've added the other ones, and there's the Zenned Out Guide to Chakras, the Zenned Out Guide to Crystals, the Zenned Out Guide to Auras. So because these are written very simply and straightforward, I thought it would be nice to have the collection. So they're on my wish list, and I'll probably pick one up a month or something like that. All right, so let's have a look at the inside. So this book feels a little bit thicker to the one that's the Wheel of the Year. It's 183 pages. There's a little bit about the author at the back there, but it's beautifully illustrated. Really, really nice. What's the publication date? 2021. So came out last year. And then we have Getting Started with the Tarot, which you'd always expect to be kind of like the first chapter in a book like this. Tarot Correspondences, so we'll have a look at what those correspondences are. Using and reading the cards, card spreads, and then we have the major arcana and the minor arcana. Then at the back here, we've got key phrases, message from the author, a thank you, about the author, and other references. So we go straight into an introduction. I like this. The tarot acts as a potent self-discovery system that has the power to catapult you into the farthest reaches of your soul. I really love that. I think that's really quite powerful. How to use the book. There's some little tips that appear all the way through. Working with the tarot will undoubtedly improve your intuitive abilities, but proficiency is not a prerequisite. And the illustrations are lovely, really nice and colourful, just like the deck. Trust in your journey. Intuition is the voice of the soul. Trust it. And how many times do we not trust it? Even now, you know, if I give readings to somebody, I'm still kind of hesitant sometimes, you know, but I get these kind of thoughts come into my head and I'm thinking, are these my personal thoughts or are these linked to my intuition, and should I share this? Getting started with the tarot. And then why work with tarot cards? The tarot offers you deep insights into the way you move through your world. It's a perfect tool for honouring your intuition. You will learn the positive and the negative aspects of the most common archetypes and better understand how they relate to you and your loved ones. It helps you make decisions, big and small. The tarot acts as a mirror to your soul and subconscious. And that is something I put on my my website years ago, because that's exactly how I see the tarot. You'll become familiar with a variety of other energetic correspondences used throughout the tarot, like the 4 elements, numerology, and astrology. The tarot can also be used to gain clarity on your path ahead and future events. Then we get a brief history of the tarot. How does the tarot work, and is it fortune telling? The structure of a tarot deck. And then the 3 lines of the major arcana. So they've split them here with the Fool being separate because it's 0. And then we get these groups of 7, which I've seen done before. We've got some common tarot terms, which is really useful to have. You know, because I remember being a little bit of a novice in the early days and hearing people talk about you know, pip cards. Even though my first deck, the one JJ Swiss, is a pip deck, I'd never heard of it back then referred to as a pip deck. It was just the system I was using. And I can remember being in a live on YouTube about 5 years ago and saying, what's this pip that we're talking about? Trump cards, court cards. So it breaks it down so you can understand those terms. How to select a deck. And then we've got tarot correspondences here. Correspondence is a fancy word that means energies that match, or as I like to say, play nicely together. So we've got the elements and a bit about the elements. Here we've got the elemental symbols laid out and how they correspond with the minor arcana. So air being swords, earth being pentacles, fire being wands, and water being cups. And then we go through each one. So we've got water, and then the water correspondences, earth, and earth correspondences, and so on. Fire. I just think this is a really nice, handy book. I think I'm gonna recommend this because lots of people always ask me, you know, I'm just looking at tarot, and I always In fact, I've got it here on the shelf. I always tell people about, and this is an old copy, it's been updated, but the Tarot Bible by Sarah Bartlett, and it's still a great book. Mine's quite bashed now. But I'm really liking this. So I think I might recommend this. So numerology, and then we've got the meanings of numerology: balance, partnership, new beginnings, creativity, collaboration, stability, for change or disruption. Yeah, I'm buying into all these. Yeah, so that's good. And then the meanings, so a little bit more information about each of the numbers of the pips, 0 through to 10, or is it 1 through to 10? No, we have got 0. And then we've got astrology, and we've got how each of the major arcana links to a planet. And then general planetary meanings. I think this is set out really, really nice. Cassie has done such a good job using and reading the cards. Yeah, different ways, and journaling. There's a whole bit on journaling, energy reading, shadow work, and then understanding the common archetypes. Ways to, I'm going to read this from cover to cover. You know, I don't think you're ever too long or too far into your practice to pick up an introductory book and read what somebody has to say. There's always new things to learn, or things to remember that we've long forgotten. Understanding the stories in the tarot. And then we've got reading reverse cards. Not that I do, but I think it's good to include that. Difficult reading or bad cards. We know there's no bad cards, but I guess they're talking about those ones that can be quite challenging or difficult when they come up. Then we've got a section on spreads. The paper is really nice as well. How to shuffle. The rainbow, that's where you fan them out. Shuffling, and 1 card pull, 3 card spreads, and there's lots of different options here for 3 card spreads. So we always think of past, present and future. There's mind, body, spirit, problem, solution, outcome, personality, life path, potential, desire, hurdle, culmination, etc. And then we've got it linked here to the chakras. This is really good. 12-month spread. I do this. I would do a year ahead spread, or offer year ahead spreads. And then we go into the cards. So the major arcana, and what we get here is a page for each card. The lovers, and then the lovers reversed. So pretty standard. And then we go into the minors. You get just as much information in the minor arcana as you do with the major arcana. And there we have it. The rest is a message from the author. Thank you. A little bit about Cassie Uhl. And then some other references. And then she's promoting the tarot deck, which we're going to look at. So the Journey Tarot. So really nice hardback book, beautifully presented. And for less than £10 on Amazon, I think it's brilliant. It's suddenly the sunset and it's gone very dark here. I'm just hoping that the lighting is still okay. I'm gonna flick on the lights. I've got a lamp here as well that might help. That's a little bit better. Okay, so again, if you've seen couple catchment cards, then obviously it's up to you if you continue with this part of the video or not. But as I mentioned, this is beautiful, and I'm not sure how it shows under the light, but you see these kind of rainbow effect metallic touches to them. It's just really, really beautiful. There's a nice design around the sides, and it's like a clamshell, so it opens like this, and we've got this gorgeous kind of lavender lilac Then we've got a little book. So, you know, even if you don't buy this Understanding Tarot, then you've got a little book here as well, which also gives you meanings for each of the cards. But we just get, I think, the upright meanings. But it is a little white book. It's not too thick. It's about 43, 44 pages. Okay, so the presentation, again, this wasn't an expensive deck at all. The presentation, so we've got this little fake bottom here. If you want to keep it in, I will, because having this little ribbon to pull out the cards, I think is quite handy, but you don't have to have it. You can take it out, it's optional. But it's lovely and sturdy. Tells you a little bit about the deck on the back. The Zenned Journey Tarot Kit will introduce you to the major and minor arcana and common card spreads, while showing you how numerology, astrology, and the 4 elements weave themselves into the card meanings. Discover how to use your intuition to interpret the card messages and connect with your inner guidance system using 78 lavishly illustrated cards, an easy to follow 64-page guidebook, and the tarot. To the tarot. The cards are nice and thick. This is a thick deck. I've heard some people complain about the cardstock. I've got no issues with the cardstock. It kind of reminds me like a Hay House type deck. These are the back, which I think are beautiful. And it's in keeping, the colour theme, with the packaging and everything. It's really nice. So we've got this kind of this spiral here, and then the moon phases around the outside, patterns in each corner, but it's really nice. It's like a matte finish, but it has a silky finish to it, not glossy. These aren't glossy cards, they are matte, but there is that silky sheen to them. So I'm going to bring the camera down a little bit so that we can have a better look at the cards. Okay, so as you can see, the image is quite simple. We don't have all the symbology that we might be used to having, like the dog, for example, the Fool's Dog, but we still have like the white rose. But I love the additional touches that have been added, like this this kind of DNA strand here. And also, I think, I mean, it's quite female-centric, but there's lots of diversity within this deck. And I'm not just talking about ethnicity, I'm also talking about body shapes and sizes, age diversity, which often gets overlooked. But here we've got somebody who, you know, their gender is quite ambiguous. It could be male, female, or somebody that's non-binary. I think this is a beautiful magician card. The colours are so rich. We've got all of the elements represented here. We've got earth, we've got the swords, we've got water, the wand. But look at this as well, this energy coming, the water flowing from the cup and the rays coming from the wand. Really beautiful. We've got the lemniscate going right through the centre here. And one thing that I really like about this deck is the vibrancy. The colours in this deck are gorgeous. Here's our High Priestess. Very clever what's been done here. We've got the pomegranate, we've got the crescent moon, and then instead of the black and white towers, Boaz and Jacqueline, we've got the black and white hair. Very sort of Cruella de Vil. We've got the moon phases here. What I've also noticed as well is if you take a close look at each of the archetypes in the deck, particularly the clothes that they're wearing, you see almost the universe within. They're not blocked colours, or block colours I should say. You almost see like what's happening in the background. It's like they blend in with the background. Just like here, you see on the top there's the stars and a little bit of the galaxy, and underneath of the dress here There's all these stars. So beautiful. The Emperor. I love this Emperor. I really think he's a gorgeous Emperor. He doesn't seem like somebody who's, if he looks very sort of grounded. I love the fact that he's barefooted on the ground. It's not somebody who's, you know, wearing a uniform or sitting on a throne. He is very much at one with the world around him. I love the staff as well. One of my favourite Hierophant cards. Absolutely love this. The Wisdom of Trees. Just look at this tree spirit. Again, noticing the trousers that's being worn here. We've got this night, starry sky. Beautiful. Lovers. And again, it doesn't matter who you're reading for. There's that sort of ambiguity here. Chariot. It's a fantastic card. The energy in this. I love that we've got the black and the white represented as the birds rather than the sphinxes. But really knows the direction that is headed. Strength card. Took me a moment to kind of focus on this. You know, it's two people here rather than a two-headed person. I think one is stood in front of the other, but one is quiet and contemplative, the other one is roaring. And that takes strength, doesn't it, to focus on one. We have our Hermit here, so simple with this beautiful candle and flame. Going within. The Wheel of Fortune, we've got Maiden, Mother, Crone, but we've got all different kind of skin tones here. Again, each of them representing the cosmos. You know, we are space dust, stardust, however you want to call it. This is where we came from, it's where we return. And we're reminded all the way through this deck. Justice, very simple. I like the fact that it's, I'm assuming Mars and Venus. Could be Jupiter. I'm not very good when it comes to planets. Mars is the red planet, so maybe it's Jupiter. We have the Hanged One. I mentioned on Saturday as well. This reminds me of like the edge of the precipice that the fool would stand on. I'm not sure if that looks the same. No, not quite the same. We have Death. I think this is such a stunning and powerful Death card. This black abyss here, and it's reaching up, but also like she's releasing. Her hands are releasing, and it's also coming down. And then look at the journey, the direction that she's heading. So beautiful. Temperance. We have one foot in the water, one on the ground. Oops. The Devil. Again, I love Devil cards where you've just got a central figure, a bit like in Sassorabito. And the shadow here with the little devil horns. Really clever. We all have that that devil within us, you know. We can one day or in one moment act angelic, and in the next moment we can be like a demon. Down to the set of circumstances I think sometimes we find ourselves in. The Tower is powerful. She's being struck, but look how she's breaking apart and all fracturing here, as well as the ground that she's on. You know, she's sat one side, feet at the other, and the ground beneath her is also opening up. Beautiful image, powerful image. We have the Star card. The Moon. The Moon and the Sun are quite abstract. I like them. I think they're beautiful. Very different. And then we have our Judgment card here. Now that looks like the same person, but kind of mirror imaged. We've got this all-seeing eye. Then we have the World. Again, beautiful. We've got these crystals, we've got the moon, we've got the sun, we've got this gorgeous tree with its roots. And again, we have this kind of DNA strand here. It goes all the way around. And the cyclical nature of life and the world. So I don't know if, I mentioned on Saturday, but the minors are pips, going back to that word again, but they're not pips in the sense where it's a wand and then 2 wands and 3 wands. It's not Marseille, it's not arranged in a particular style or pattern. And there are some kind of scenic references as well that, not in every card, but that would nod back to something like the RWS. But I'm just going to lay them down because they're beautiful with their colours together as well. So we've got our ace there, and then the 2. I mean, that one is just beautiful. I love this kind of fiery energy. We've got the 4, the 5. Again, with our wands, you know, if we think of the 5 of wands and that sort of conflict, we get that kind of arrangement there. Six of wands, 7, 8 is quite a typical 8 of wands, 9, I love this with this little, I'm not quite sure what it is, it's like a bandage or a rope or something tied, and again we get that sense of that heavy burden there. So that's our, and make sure they're in the shot. Let's alter that a second. There we go. That frames it a little bit better. So that's our wands, and then we have our page, which I love. Look at that. The knight, and they're, you know, they're not using kind of genders that you would associate with a knight being male or the pages. In this family of courts, they're all presenting female, but in other the court families, they're not. So that is our wands, and then what we will do now is have a look at the cups. I thought I'd show you them this way rather than just go through each one and just talk about, you know, the pattern. It's just nice to see them. And I think the colours that they use really complement each other here. I get the sense there though, don't you, of the Two of Cups, that it's about the coming together of two souls. This one is beautiful. I think it's so gorgeous. And when we think of the RWS, you know, with the different options, choices within the 7. We've got these different rainbow colours. The 9, where, you know, it's the card for counting your blessings, and he's got all this overflowing cups in his hands, or their hands. Just gorgeous. Again, you know, the 5, you've got 3 cups that are overturned and 2 upright. And then for our quartz, we've got our page, which is beautiful. The Knight. It's interesting that the Knight reminds me more of the Page of Cups, with the cup and the little fish. Our Queen and King. But I just love it. Again, you know, the body diversity as well. Okay, and then we go on to our swords. We do get a change in colour here. And look at this for the 3 of Swords. You know, when we think of the Heartbreaker card, it goes very dark, but it's in a heart shape. Do you notice the dark shading here? It's in the shape of a heart, and then at the tip of the blades, there's little bits of blood being spilled. So there are those nods there. I'm really loving having more space at my desk to be able to do this. So for me, this isn't just a pip deck. I mean, here again, look, you've got that, you really get a sense of the 10 of Cups, particularly if you're used to reading RWS with this, this blood here and the pointing down of the 10 swords. And then we have our... This is such a theme as well, this dark, shadowy aspect, you know, because this is a deck as well for shadow work, as it said. And you do get this real sense, this shadowy aspect. I think this is an incredible deck. For the cost, it's probably the best £10 I've spent. The deck, I think, was around 12. This is a beautifully stunning Ace of Pentacles, and the 2 is beautiful as well. You really get that sense of the earth here. Lots of flowers. Beautiful. Gorgeous, look at that. And again, we get the position of the kind of Tree of Life. That's the arrangement of the Pentacles that you'll see in the RWS 10 of Pentacles. Page, Knight, beautiful, beautiful Queen there, and King. So there you have it. Let me know your thoughts. I love it. I think this deck is wonderful. I'm looking forward to reading the book as well. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts below. This is the Zenned Journey Tarot, a deck for personal growth. Comes with a little white book, but you can also purchase Understanding the Tarot, which is also by Cassie All, and it uses the same artwork on the deck, as you can see here. All right, thanks for watching, everybody, and until next time, go in peace, namaste, and blessed be.